So we get introduced to our main character, Twilight, and he's a spy for this organization that stops crime. So the first thing we see is him pretty much taking advantage of this woman trying to get closer to the dad. When I first seen this, I wasn't expecting him to break up with her and be like, look, I have no use for you anymore.
You can't just walk out on me. Come back here.
But it's pretty much just like, why would I have a dream to have a wife and family? It's not possible. So the next day, Lloyd gets in contact with another spy. They give each other different newspapers as a type of code for spies. So pretty much Donovan Desmond is an evil bad guy. Lloyd's mission is to find him and get any info that he can get. But the only way he's going to be able to complete this, he has to adopt a kid. He has to have a wife and kid to really finalize everything. Pretty much this man Donovan works at some type of university. Like I said, that's to adopt a kid and make the kid enroll into this school so he can infiltrate.
Supposed to have a kid in 7 days?
Lloyd ends up looking for an apartment, and he actually finds what that he actually wants. Lloyd would then head to the adoption center. We get introduced to a kid named Anya. This is where the show gets good and very interesting. This kid can read minds.
Girl looks no older than 4 or 5.
6. I'm 6.
Turns out Anya is a very smart girl, and Lloyd, he tends to know this as soon as he watches her do a crossword puzzle.
She completed it?
Lloyd was so impressed that nigga said, I'll take her. She reads Lloyd's mind again and she finds out that he's a spy on a mission. So as soon as they get to the crib, Lloyd pretty much says like, if anybody asks, tell them you've been my daughter all my life.
Moved in.
I'm Anya. I've always been Papa's daughter. Oh,
Didn't need to say that.
And man, I gotta say, I love the comedy in this show. And as soon as they walk into this apartment, Anya gets so excited because she's not used to this type of living condition. And she also loves spy shows. And as a man saying this, it had little cute moments of a father and daughter kind of bond, even though they're not father and daughter.
I want a pistol with a silencer.
Sure, if there's one on sale.
Lloyd notices that even though he's a spy, he still has to play the part, which is play the father role. As Anya is holding his hand, she started reading his mind. He was talking about an enemy, and she started getting scared. And I gotta say, this kid is smart as hell by the way she plays it off. And man, they kind of have this funny moment where he says, I don't think she's the brightest kid. I might have to pick up a different kid.
He doesn't seem all that bright. I wonder if I can trade her in for another child.
He then started crying and making a scene, so he offers her peanuts. She's pretty much like, all right, bet, nigga. And again, I'm a grown man saying this. This was cute. Look at the way he's holding his kid. That's not his kid. This nigga took the parent role really serious. Lloyd pretty much already made his mind up, and when this mission is over, they're done. She's going to a different family. Lloyd tries to persuade Anya to actually study so she can get into this school. Anya thinks that she doesn't need to study to take this test. I mean, mainly because she can read minds. Lloyd ends up walking out so he can go handle some spy business. And Lloyd tells Anya to stay, but let's be honest, she's a kid. She's not gonna listen.
I see you. There.
Papa's so good at hide and seek.
Her man is so bad he ends up trapping the door so she doesn't get out. And I gotta say, I love this show. I gotta be honest. Frankie ends up letting Lloyd know, focus on your mission and don't get too attached. We then cut to aboard Anya. We then go into Lloyd's room and gets into his spy stuff. She would end up accidentally sending a message to the villain. She pretty much sent a message talking shit, and that's what angered them. This is where you kind of feel bad for Anya because she's too afraid to even let him know or let him see that she has abilities. She thinks that if he finds out, he's gonna send her back, and she doesn't want to go back. She was pretty much just an experiment. Lloyd comes back to his home and everything feels off. And this is where we learn some intruders broke in. They tried catching the fade with this nigga. I ain't gonna lie, he faded the fuck out of, bro. I think he threw a can at that nigga's dome. Oh, threw the nigga with a chair. Then asked, who the fuck sent these guys? And the next thing is, where the fuck is Anya? That's when we find out that Anya was kidnapped. Next thing you notice, this nigga gets knocked out with a fucking metal pipe. The next scene, you see them holding Anya, literally holding this fucking 6-year-old hostage. And this man right here is a fucking savage. Boss, don't you think it's kind of fucked up holding a child hostage? I don't remember asking for your opinion. I'm like, bro, he just head top a nigga in front of a fucking 6-year-old. So the bad guy ends up getting back and he ends up bringing Lloyd. And when I seen this, it was wild. Turns out it's not Lloyd. Turns out this nigga had a disguise on the whole fucking time. So as Anya is crying, he started reminiscing about when he was a kid and how nobody would help him when he would cry.
Single person out there ever tried to save me was completely alone and powerless in the world.
My pals there. We're all pro tag players. You see someone who looks like they can play, challenge them to a little game.
He pretty much was telling her, go to the police station and tell them about everything and they'll put you in a different home. And before y'all say anything, he didn't necessarily want to get rid of her. He just didn't want her in the line of this fire and shit. He don't want nothing to happen to her. So Lloyd would head back and go handle his business. And he set up a whole bunch of traps. He would end up wiping out this nigga's whole gang in literally seconds. Then when it got to the boss man, Lloyd let that nigga know right then and there.
Your precious girl to have any kind of a normal life? You'll leave me the hell alone.
Anya stayed back, and when he came back, she gave him a hug. Of course, he doesn't know that she knows that he's a spy, so he ends up lying to her. I felt like this was really a heartfelt moment.
I want to go home. Back to our place, Papa.
He's really starting to feel new emotions, and he's really starting to get attached. Then he honors her wish and say, let's go home.
Papa might be the world's biggest liar, but he's a cool liar.
Once we're there, you've got to study. As long as you memorize all the answers, it'll be fine.
But yeah, that's pretty much the first episode to Spy X Family. A real good show. I've already seen season 1 and 2, but I wanted to bring it on my channel because it's a show that I want to put a lot of people onto if you haven't already watched it. This show will make you feel so many emotions. It'll make you probably blush because of how the dynamic is and how much of a bond that they have. And just, this show is real different. I feel like they really went a different route. And if you continue to watch, it's going to be another character that also gets brought into it. But I'm not trying to spoil you the whole show for you, but I'd rather talk about the first episode. This show is really good, man. I feel like if you guys watch it, if you already haven't, you're gonna have a good time with this show. You really are. This is a good show. But as always, peace.
You passed! Way to go!
I did good?
You did really good. You...
Papa!